So in this next part of OSPF interview question series, we will discuss about multicast. So interviewer might ask us that which command shows OSPF neighbors and helps to verify multicast behavior, but only in the Cisco routers. So whenever the question is about technology, then don't care about the vendor. But whenever the question is specific to Huawei, Cisco, Juniper, or those kind of, and it's related to commands especially, then we have to answer from that perspective, from that vendor's perspective. So it's a vendor specific question because commands are a little bit different, outputs, inputs are a little bit different in Cisco, in Huawei and others. So here he is asking, we have to focus that we have to tell that which command shows the neighbors and helps to verify. So definitely the command is show IP OSPF neighbor. So this is a sample output of this command, and this command shows us different parameters. For example, the interviewer might ask us that okay, what is the meaning of neighbor ID here? So definitely it is the router ID of our neighbor. Let's say this output has been taken from router 1 and there are multiple routers like router 1, router 2 and router 3. I'm just giving example, maybe it's not matching with this output. So it is showing that okay, R1 is a router, the command has been run on R1 and it has two neighbors, one is router 2, the other one is router 3. The priority towards R3 is 1, the priority towards R2 is also 1. The neighbor state, which means that okay, router 2, which is one of our neighbor, he is in the full state and it is a designated router. So which means that there might be a switch and we have connections like this in between. So there is DR-BDR election or the network type. Even sometime we have this kind of network which looks like point to point, but actually it doesn't become point to point unless you specify in the command, in the interface command of OSPF, that yes, this is a point to point. So it doesn't mean physically how the network is, logically how the network is. What it matters is that what you have configured during the OSPF configuration. If you mention it point to point, it will behave like a point to point. Even when there are, for example, when there is a switch in between, and still you can configure this kind of network as point to point. And even when there is really point to point, but you can still make it broadcast type of network here. So it all depends how you configure. So here ERBR BDR election has taken place. So this router is a DR. The dead time interval means 36 seconds have passed or left, and the IP address next hop is this one, and the interface is this one. It's interface IP, not next hop. And similarly we have another neighbor. So show IP OSPF neighbor is the command which shows us comprehensively that okay, how does the multicast behaving. There are other commands actually related to OSPF which we discussed previously, but this is the comprehensive command, especially in the Cisco. So next question, how do you verify if an interface is receiving OSPF multicast packets on Cisco or not? So how to verify? So either, for example, let's say we have two routers. One router is here, another router is here, router 1 and router 2, R2. So if you want to verify that whether router 2 is receiving multicast packets here 224.0.0.5 or .6 or not, so one thing is we can put a packet capture here. So we can install a laptop or whatever, or we can use Wireshark, and we can see in the Wireshark okay, from the packet level whether it's receiving multicast or not, whether R1 is sending or not. Or we can use the command. So simply we can go to the router and we can run the command, the debug command. So if you run the general debug, then definitely there will be thousands of messages. You wouldn't be able to see what is happening. A lot of messages will be, a lot of events will be happening in the router. So we have to specify that debug only IP OSPF and only the hello packets. So then we will be able to see okay, hello is being sent or received. So hello means multicast definitely. So in this way we can verify. So we can use a packet sniffer like Wireshark, whether it's logical within GNS, within other simulators, or whether it's the real one like a physical laptop. So, and we can enable it through command as well, like debug. So debug is very popular, very useful command, and you need to learn. A lot of network engineers, they ignore it, but actually for troubleshooting it's very very vital. Okay, another question: if hello packets are seen on 224005 but no neighbors are being found, because we just discussed that okay, if these packets are not being exchanged, then what could be the problem? So if there are two routers, there is router 1, there is two OSPF routers, router 1 and router 2. So previously we discussed okay, 224005 multicast is not being received and sent. So what happens? Definitely neighbors are not found. But in this question he says, maybe he can extend the question. He can say okay, you are saying 224005 packets are very important. So then now he's saying okay, these packets are being seen like 224 when we capture or when we go to the OSPF. So these messages are being received, but still they are not becoming the neighbors, not becoming OSPF neighbors. So what could be the problem? There could be a lot of problems, but the most common problem after multicast is that the receiving router may not see its own OSPF router ID in OSPF hello, right? So which means, whenever we turn on the OSPF process, so what happens actually? Let's say this is router 1, it has router 3 here, it has router number 4 here, here also it has R6, let's say R7. So what happens, as soon as we configure OSPF on router 1 and router 2 and 3 4, they are also working 5 6 7. So R1 will start sending hello messages, DBD messages and everything, and inside router 1, that initial hello message it will say, and DBD message it will say okay, I am router number 1 and I have my neighbors who, I have my neighbors, it will write here, I have my neighbors R3, I have my neighbor R4, and I also have a neighbor R2. Why? Because he is near to me and I have received a packet from him already. So then this packet will be sent. So R2 will see this message. He will say, okay, R3 is his neighbor, R4, okay, and R2 is also near to him, which means this is me. So it will see its own router ID in the list. Then it will be sure that, okay, yes, I can form the neighbor relationship. Otherwise, if it doesn't see, if they have not exchanged properly, then they'll not form the neighborship. The next question interviewer might ask is, can you filter OSPF multicast packets with an access list? So definitely we can do it. We can apply access list for layer 2, for layer 3, for IP packets to filter any type of traffic. So yes, but doing so may break OSPF neighbor relationship. Definitely when you will filter some of the packets, so you have to do it carefully, because if you block these .5, .6 or any other types of packets, then neighborship will not be formed unless you want to achieve a specific purpose. Then you should do it. So plan it properly, especially on the live networks where there is traffic. Which OSPF routers send hello to .5? So we just discussed in the original slide that all OSPF routers, they send hello. So all type of OSPF routers, including DR, BDR. There are three types. When we say all means DR, BDR, and DR other. So designated, backup designated, and everyone else, which means DR other. So they send hello to .5 and they listen on 224 for every type of packet. So this is a little bit how to say thin part. So we have to focus on it. Which OSPF routers listen on 224005? So all OSPF routers, they listen on 224005, right, for every type of packet. Then which OSPF routers they send on 224006? So actually these questions you must practice again and again to become expert in this. So all DR others, which means They shouldn't be DR, they shouldn't be BDR. So everyone else other than DR and BDR, they send their LSAs on 224006. Actually, you must master this table so that you can answer these questions properly. Which OSPF routers they listen on 224006? Again, all DR and BDR. So only DR and BDR they listen on it. And then in the next part we will discuss about network type or interface type. So for now, let's close here so that it becomes around 10 minutes, 11 minutes part each, and we can focus on question answers in our live session. So if you want to join the live session, you can write your email address or your WhatsApp number in the comments below so that we can include you into the next live session and we can have question answers as well. So you can ask freely or you can type your questions in the chat below, in the comments below, and I'll be answering. Thank you.